Welcome back to Rabid Noise on Rabbit Radio. Joining me on the program now is Suicide Silence shredder Mark Heylmun. How's it going, man?
It's going quite well, man. I am enjoying my time here in London and just hanging out.
Awesome, dude. You're just about to release the much-anticipated new album, You Can't Stop Me, and we've been spinning Cease to Exist and Don't Die, which are both killer tracks, man. When it comes to writing and selecting songs for a Suicide Silence album, do you guys jam them out in a room to get a feel for them, or do you write them in the studio?
We always write our music in the jam room. That is basically a garage that has been converted into a little studio that is, it's our makeshift Suicide Silence jam room studio. Everything that has been written for Suicide Silence has been written in that room, and we all get together, we all jam out and just work on the songs together, and then we usually kind of add a little bit of salt and pepper and change a few things once we're in the studio itself and recording. But for the most part, it's all done in Corona, California, in our jam room.
That's awesome, man. Because sometimes these days, you hear a lot of bands, they're using a lot of technology and, demoing before they go into the studio and things like that, and not jamming it out live. So that's really cool to hear, especially, with the songs being so raw and full of energy.
Yeah, we try to maintain that excitement, I think that there is some good to being able to, use technology and, get some fake drums and record something, write fills out exactly the way you want them to be, and you hear the way it's going to sound. But there's really nothing that can portray an exciting song better than a real performance and a real vibe of where we came up with it together, and it was written together, and it's going to be played together live. So what better way to come up with the songs?
Definitely. Well, you've also got some awesome guest vocals on the album from George Corpse Grinder Fisher and Greg Puciato from Kill or Be Killed and Dillinger. Did they come down to the studio to hang out when they did their parts?
Greg did go down to the studio while we were in the studio recording. We had dinner with him, I don't even know, a number of times, I feel like. We hung out, and really his vocal didn't get put down until we were in Asia after Soundwave, because after Soundwave we went to Asia and did some shows, and Dillinger went home, and when Dillinger went home, Greg went into the studio and recorded that vocal part while we were still on tour. So he didn't actually come into the studio and record it while we were there, but he was there in the studio while we were recording a little bit. George, he did his vocal part from, I believe he was in Adam D's studio. No, I don't. Actually, that's not right. He wasn't in Adam D's studio. He was in Jason Sukoff's studio, and he recorded those while we weren't there. But either way, we gave direction, and he sang the part brutally, and it would have been cool to have them in the studio, but it's just not always how it works out.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But man, it would have been awesome to see him rip out those growls on your song. You know what I mean?
I know.
Man, it's a brutal track too. Control, right?
Yeah. I think Control and Monster Within. I didn't even really realize it until after. The thing, we really like to just let things kind of happen naturally, and naturally, Greg ended up being on probably one of the most diverse tracks of the record, really party, bouncy, different for Suicide Silence. It's a new kind of tune, and then Control is like classic kind of, cleansing style, just thrashy, and Corpse Grinder on that. It's like two faces of Suicide Silence and sound. So it's great to have them on those two absolutely contrasting tracks.
Oh, for sure. And it's a great album, man. I've heard it a couple of times over the last couple of days, and it's solid. You've really been through a lot personally with the band over the last couple of years, and, the album title was taken from some of Mitch's lyrics. And when it came to the album title, was that the starting off point and the inspiration to keep going to record another album?
Yeah, I mean, it was almost 100% the influence. Just because there wasn't really any lyrics that had been written for the album yet. Eddie was in the band already. We had a little bit of music, some riffage, and, maybe a couple of potential song ideas, but there was no lyrics yet. So when we read Mish's the lyrics he left, and You Can't Stop Me was basically the theme of the entire song, and the theme of being, living a life that's truthful, living, being unstoppable. It immediately gave us an empowering feeling. We have a whiteboard in our band room. We always write our song ideas, potential song titles, song structures. But once we read these lyrics, that whiteboard was blank, and right at the top of it, we wrote "You Can't Stop Me." And we didn't know if it was going to be the name of a song, the name of the album, but we kind of knew that could be the end-all title of the record, and that's what it ended up being.
That's amazing, man. It really is. And, it's really inspiring as well, for you guys to just find that in there and keep going. It's inspiring for a lot of people out there.
It's crazy that it's even real life. It's like one of those kind of scenarios that you just can't even believe is real, especially when it's happening. And, I still can remember reading the lyrics and just being like, this is what, he was writing, and like, this is where we're at. It's like, you can't stop me. This is beyond real.
As for your fan base, you guys have an absolute insane fan base down here. You literally can't go to a gig without seeing at least one Suicide Silence shirt. Where do you find that you guys have the biggest fan base or the best response live other than Australia?
South America. I think the first time that we went down to South America was like a real eye-opener to how dedicated and, for lack of a better word, insane our fans can be. We had the joke of, there was Beatlemania, with the Beatles coming to the United States. Like, there was Suicide Silence mania the first time we went to South America. Like, we had one show booked in Brazil at like a 500 capacity venue for one night. It sold out so quick they had to book another one. Wow. And they flew us down a day earlier to play 2 shows in a row in Sao Paulo, both sold out. South America is just out of control. But really though, anywhere we go, our fans are out of control, and it's fucking insane just how many diehard fans we really have and how much we mean to them. And they mean the world to us, because without them we can't do this. So we're very respectful to the fact that we have diehard fans.
Awesome, man. You guys are about to hit the road on the Rockstar Mayhem tour over there in the States, and that's with, Cannibal Corpse, Mushroom Head, and Body Count, to name a few. How crazy are those type of tours behind the scenes?
Crazy, yeah, they are crazy. It's a real organized crazy. Everybody's just having fun. You got to think about it. There's however many bands it is, 12 or 15 or something, and every single one of those bands really only has to work about an hour of the day, maybe an hour and a half, including a signing. So you've got a day that starts off at about noon and ends at about midnight. So you have 12 hours, and you only have to work for about an hour and a half, and the rest of the 11 hours is fucking jack-off session, do whatever the fuck you want to do, barbecue. It's literally a heavy metal summer camp. There's so much going on. It just depends what you want to get into. I've had some of the most memorable times of my life on Mayhem. This will be our 3rd time doing it. It's great. The last time we were on Mayhem, I can remember the one and only Eddie Hermida just living on our bus and just hanging out all the time, and all of us waking up hungover together, and all of us having to play a show every single day. There's just memories are made on that tour.
I hear nothing but good things about those Mayhems. It's something one day, hopefully, I'll get over there and get to check it out. I guess we've got Soundwave, and you guys were recently here for Soundwave Festival. Have you got plans to come back down here in the near future?
There aren't, solidified plans yet, but we are talking about trying to get over there and do our own, headlining tour or something to that effect as soon as possible. You know, summer's coming up, and I'd like to make it over there before it's over.
Yeah, well, it's our winter down here now, so if you come over in summer, it'll be perfect, just like Soundwave, you know?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't want to sound redundant, you know. I say it in like every Australian interview that I do, that it's like that's our second home. The closest thing to California, I think, in the world is Australia. You know, it's warm. There's attractive women everywhere. There's water. There's good food, there's good people, there's English-speaking people, and it's just literally it's very welcoming. The people are intense, and we're intense people too. We like to hang out with the locals, and in Australia the locals like to hang out with us, so we always like to go there.
Awesome, man. Well, you're always welcome to come back down here anytime you want. So, so what's next for Suicide Silence?
Dude, what is next for Suicide Silence is riding the wave. You know, that's all we ever really can do. Never know what the next turn is gonna give us. We're gonna release the record. We're gonna go out and tour. We're gonna play these songs. We're gonna freaking crush the world. You know, we're gonna give it our all, and we're gonna continue just being us. You know, it's hard to do anything other than that. We're gonna continue rocking shows and continue putting out quality music, because that's all we really plan on doing. That's the reason why we move forward. There will not be an end to Suicide Silence anytime soon.
That's awesome to hear, man. That's what we want to hear. Go out there and do what you do best, and show them how it's done.
Exactly.
Awesome, man. Well, we're going to go to the track Don't Die off You Can't Stop Me. Thanks for hanging with us tonight, Mark, and I wish you the best of luck with the release of the new album and your tours, and hopefully see you guys down here soon.
Hell yeah, brother. Cheers, man.